All right, guys, we're going to do a setup for a Mercedes. The Mercedes is going to take one target. There's no shifting. It will be set in the center. What we want to do here, and this will cover most of the Mercedes in this position, and I'll explain. As far as the Mercedes calibrations go, some of them are dynamic, some of them are static. It just depends on the model and the year. There's really no rhyme or reason that I've found. There could be, but I don't know. But as far as setting this target up, if you look on the back here, you're either at 89 millimeters from the car or 1,000 millimeters from the car. So most of your Mercedes are either going to be 89 millimeters or 1,000 from the bumper. Okay, the height's going to be 1275 each time. So we'll get this on 1275. If we're 1,000 millimeters from the bumper, pretty straightforward. We just turn our lasers on. And we get to about 1,000. Make sure we're square. Everything looks good. Okay, we would shoot this right here at 1,000. Pretty straightforward. Mercedes goes pretty quick. Not a whole lot of issues with Mercedes. Quite often there's a few faults with the Mercedes, so keep an eye on that as you're running your scans. There could be quite a few faults. We'll shut everything off here. So again, this is set up at 1,000 millimeters, which will cover some of the Mercedes. If it calls for 89 millimeters. 89 millimeters is about 3 inches. So at this point, we want to come up to the bumper, get about 3 inches away. We need to center it to the logo or the emblem here. One way we can do that is on the bumper jig. If we take off this wing nut, be careful, you don't want to lose your wing nut and you don't want to lose your laser, but if we take that laser off, hold that wing nut. This laser here now, for the newer devices, has a ledge. I can turn this on. I can set it on the target. And now I can tell that we are centered to that logo, if you can see that. So this helps us square it up perfectly precise to that logo. This car now, you remove this. This car now, you shoot it right at this spot, and it should go right through. There are two vehicles, though, we need to talk about. Both the Sprinter vans and the G-Wagon are going to have different heights here. Your tablet will tell you. With the Sprinter van and the G-Wagon, it's going to ask you, most of them are going to be 1,600 millimeters high. Our device here goes to 15. So in order to get our 1,600 millimeters, what we want to do is the 3.0 targets have a little notch here. If you have the older system without these notches, it still works. But these notches here allow me, want to make sure it's centered, to set it up here. This here, the magnets are holding it on. This now is set up to 1,600 millimeters. So this will be how we run the G-Wagons and the Sprinter vans. So kind of keep an eye on those notches. If you have one of the older systems without the notches, very simple, you can take a magnet or something, just put something on here so the bottom of the target is flush with the bar. And the 1,600 millimeters is from the ground to that center line. So if you need to measure just to reassure that you're at the right height, that's how you would do it. Measure from the ground to that center mark. And that'll give you your 1,600 for the Sprinter vans and the G-Wagons.